Have you ever felt like you're just doing everything right, but the scale won't budge? I think it's really those moments where you just feel like you hit a wall. You exercise regularly, your eating's pretty much on point, and then it just seems like those results aren't coming. I mean, maybe you got some momentum going right away, and then it just seems like things stopped. I don't know. That's what ended up happening to me, and I find it frustrating as well. It still happens from time to time. So we're going to dig into that today. But before we do that, I do want to welcome you to another Power Blast podcast where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can reclaim your power and really recharge that battery of yours. So, and I'm talking about your mental and your physical battery, not like your regular battery. Okay, you get it. Also, if you'd like to really focus on, if you're nodding along here, like Perry, I've had those plateaus before and you're feeling like stuck in fitness limbo, head over to talktoperry.com and grab yourself some strategies so that you can reignite that progress of yours. Now, let's just talk about the plateaus and stuff like that. I've been in the same boat, especially when I get started, and sometimes I don't even see. It's like I hit the plateau right out of the gate. I'm starting on my journey, and nothing's happening. Maybe for you it's morning jogs or something like that, and you're being more consistent on eating salads. I'm thinking toward the beginning of the year, a lot of people start doing these things. For me, I was just in that start-stop cycle over and over and over again. So when I just made this committed decision that I am going to go, I'm going to call it all in. Although, I kind of got a little bit anxious when I told myself I was going to do that. So when I said all in, I'm just like, okay, I'll just do it one day at a time. I'm really all in, but I better just do one day at a time because otherwise it'll seem too big for me. Side story there. But here I'm going along. It seemed like every time I'd get going, I would step on the scale and the scale wouldn't budge. And it really was frustrating to me. And when the scale's not budging, then I'm going and checking myself out in the mirror. The gut isn't going anywhere. Then I'm feeling down, put on clothing, still tight, drive to work, steering wheel still tight on the gut. And I got to this point, little Zen moment here. I got to this point where I decided, while I think the scale can really be a great accountability tool, I decided to set it aside. I'm like, this time, the scale is not going to be a part of my journey. I want to focus on the habits. And I believe in my heart, should I show up every day and stay committed, and I was doing kind of this 3-month commitment to myself, should I show up every single day and just do the best I can on that day, because I know there's a law of rhythm and some days you're on, some days you're off. But should I show up, I'm bound to develop some habits here, and some results must happen. And so I kind of got into that because before I would get going, I would hit a plateau. And so this is for you if you've gotten into that plateau mindset, or not mindset, but just hit the plateau. Instead of obsessing on the scale, it's focusing on these non-scale victories. I know that can seem a little bit soft and fluffy, but really, bottom line for many of us, it's the non-scale victories that we really want and the deep reasons why we want to get in shape in the first place. We want to feel stronger. We want to feel more confident. We want to be able to have more energy. We want to have all these things. So why not focus on that? And that's the way I pursued this. I'm like, I'm just going to focus on the journey, barely doing 2 push-ups in the first workout, and then majorly sore a couple days later and going, gosh, I'm so out of shape. I'm so overwhelmed. But I was just at this point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. And I started focusing on, am I stronger than last week? As each week built on itself. Dang, I did 5 push-ups this week. I didn't see that coming. I did 2, and then a few days later, I barely did 1, and I'm on my knees, but now I'm a little bit stronger. So I'm focusing on just these other things. It's easy to get sucked into the scale, the smart watch, walking past the mirror, beating ourselves up mentally and stuff like that. But what if we just focus on some simple habits? Showing up for your exercise, showing up for your workout, doing the best you can. Doesn't mean you have to have a personal record in each time. Pushing and pulling exercises, nothing too dramatic. Just having a great routine. Embracing the soreness, and just knowing I'm making a lifelong commitment here because I want those non-scale victories. And then you start to watch those non-scale victories kick in. The energy happens. For some people that I've mentored, they play with their kids and their grandkids. They're sleeping better at night. I know for me that was it. I used to adjust myself on my pillow and I pull a neck muscle. All of a sudden, these little pulls and aches seemed to fade away. They didn't happen as often. Energy started, a little extra bounce in my step. And so what I did was I took pictures every 30 days. That was my scale. That was my measurement. And, sliding day 1 to day 30, there wasn't much of it. And I'm like, I could have gotten defeated, but I'm like, no, before I let that all get in my head and take me out of the game, I'm excited to see what day 60, what day 90, what day 120 looks like. And I did that for years. And so, and as I slid them side by side, blown away, not only at the transformation that I was seeing, but at how I was feeling, how stronger I was, the energy I was having. The exercises I was able to do went from 2 push-ups, and like a year later, because I started ramping up, I started going, gosh, I think I can challenge myself a little bit more. Now I'm doing, I think it was the other day I did the same workout that I did at that time, but I remember it was about 240 push-ups, not consecutively, but all sprinkled out throughout an entire workout. I'm like, this is the guy that had a tough time with 2 push-ups. So really focusing on, so this is kind of a mindset hack here for you, is finding those little escape patches that you may be doing. Like, oh, you're walking past the mirror and feeling bad about yourself. Well, maybe you stop doing that for a while. There's other ways to do self-talk and things like that. That's beyond this podcast here. I do that with my clients. But maybe you don't step on the scale daily. But you want to make sure that you're still developing the habits of what it is that you're wanting for these non-scale victories and what it is in your deep why, like I talked about in the other podcast earlier this week. Because when you're showing up and you're developing those habits, then you've got those moments of feeling proud for yourself. Granted, you might step on the scale 30 days later and the scale doesn't adjust much. Are you going to let that get in your head? Or are you going to let all of the wins that you just built up over the past month triumph over that little moment? So it really, really gets into doing those things, looking at those non-scale victories. And that's what I started to see for myself, was I'm seeing changes. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. No reason to stop here. And so many opportunities were created in my life, and so many amazing things happened as a result. But I was making a shift. And if you're wanting to make that shift and look beyond the scale, focusing on ideas for measuring progress in new ways, head over to talktoperry.com. Let's talk, and we can craft your breakthrough. Okay. So it's easy to get hung up on the numbers. I get it. We put a label of plateau on there, and then our mind wants to say, okay, we're adopting this plateau mindset, and then it carries through in our body. We're doing a plateau thing. What's the use in putting forth the effort? When you start getting into that thinking, you're bringing your energy down. But when you start to empower yourself and saying, you know what? If that's the gap that's taking me out of the way, I'm either going to reframe it and make it a positive thing that I'm going, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I keep developing and keep moving forward? Or am I going to let this sabotage me and bring me down? See, I found all the things that were sabotaging me and bringing me down, and I got them out of the way. I addressed them right away. I didn't ignore them. If I was having negative self-talk, it's like, how did I turn that around? So you have the power to, totally take control and boost up your energy and be able to flip things around, or you can let external circumstances, finding an escape hatch, once again, letting plateaus drag you down and really drain your energy. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals, showing up best that you can each and every day, and then choosing to look at new ways, moving forward and looking at possibilities. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those down in the comments. I will reply, I promise. And you absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.